Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I begin in the name of the God whose mercy is profound, whose kindness is forever. As far as the formal sessions are concerned, I hope that this one is going to be the very last one. We have to do 4 more verbs of the category of Salati Mazid Fi. But before that, let me introduce 1 or 2 words which cause some changes in sentences, like isa, in, law, an, that we have done before. There is this lum that you find used quite often. It's used before mudari verb like yadrib. Yadribu becomes lam yadrib, which really means simply ma daraba. In other words, lam comes before a mudari verb, and if it is singular, it puts a jazm stop over here. If it's tasniya or jama, then it removes the last noon. It becomes lam yadribu, except for jama muannas, which remains yadribna. And what does it do? It converts fail mudari into mazi manfi. It's ma daraba essentially. So, you have lam yakunil lazina kafaru, for example, in the Quran, Surah Bayyana. Lam yakunil lazina kafaru. So on. Now this was actually yakunu, which is the mudari of kana. Kana yakunu. But in came lam, like here, lam yadrib, and yakunu gave jazm to, lam gave jazm to yakunu, and it became yakun. The waw getting removed, because the sound of waw and noon are similar, and it just joins the jazm of noon, requiring waw to disappear. So that is what lam is. Similar to lam is another negation, which is lan, which is more hard, strong in its influence, in its effect. We have in the Quran, lan yanala Allahu. Lan yanala Allaha. Now what this lan has done is that yanalu has become yanala. In other words, one of the effect of lan is that it negates strongly. But in appearance what it does is that it puts a nasab, zabar, on fail muzari. And if it was, let's say, tasniya jama, again the same thing, noon would be removed except for jama muannas. Lan yanala Allaha luhumuha wala dima'uha. This is Surah Hajj. Doesn't reach God, most certainly doesn't reach God. What? Their flesh, nor their blood. That is, the flesh and the blood of the sacrificial animals. It doesn't reach God. Therefore, the verb yanala, its file is luhum and its maf'ul is Allah. And therefore, luhum and dima, the file, they are having rafa, and Allah is having nasab. So that is one thing I just wanted to get out of my way. Not that really what I'm trying to tell you is an exhaustive list of what happens in Arabic, but I want you to have quite as many tools in your hands while reading the Quran to be able to understand and grasp the meanings of the verses more clearly. Now let's move on to the list of Salasi Mazid Fi. We have already done 4. We will now move on to the 5th, which is istaqbala. Okay, this is mazi, verb, istaqbala. Now you can see that there are a number of letters that are here, and it's a simple mazi, wahid, ghaib, like zaraba, like qatala, like zalama. But it's now loaded, it's number of letters, istaqbala. The original 3, I hope you can figure out, are qabala. The first 3, alif or hamza, sin and ta, are the letters of this particular category, of this Salasi Mazid Fi category. They will always be there, whether it's istaqbala, istansara, istabdala, whatever. But the last 3 letters are always going to change for the meanings of the verb to change. Mazi, muzare is yastaqbilu. Istaqbala, yastaqbilu. Then you have ism file. Surprise, surprise, it's mustaqbil, that we already know of. You know, istaqbal is actually, he welcomed. Yastaqbilu is, he's welcoming. And mustaqbil, you know what? Mustaqbil is the one who welcomes. And obviously your future welcomes you, you know, greets you. So that is mustaqbil. And then ism file is mustaqbal, which is not actually, it's not used. I mean, it's not that if you have a word that can be formed, that it must necessarily also be used. I mean, sometimes the Arabs or in any language, people choose not to make use of a word which is grammatically legitimately there. But then, of course, I mean, it all depends on whether people use it for their purposes or not. So mustaqbal is the one who is to be welcomed. As I said, not normally used, unless, of course, there are wrong pronunciation of mustaqbil, which we Pakistanis are pretty used to doing. Instead of saying mustaqbil, you would say mustaqbal. You know, his mustaqbal is not right. But obviously, it's mustaqbil. And the act of welcoming, which is ismul fa'il, masdar, is, I'm sure you know, istiqbal. Istiqbal. Now, from this istiqbal, you know, it's very interesting. If you start getting a grasp hold of it, you can actually start playing around with it. Istiqbal, and you know Arabic or Urdu, you would know istibdal, istintaj, istiqra, and so on. There are many words that would emerge from this category as well. So that is the fifth one. Have I had there is an example that I've brought from the Quran. The Almighty says, وَإِن تَتَوَلَّوْا. In tatawallaw. Sorry, in. And if they turn their backs. Now, tatawallaw is clearly muzare, but and it's plural, but it has lost its noon to in. And if they turn their backs. Now, obviously, another question that now that you must have in mind is that what's going on? What is it? So it's bab tafaul. And the category is tatawallaw. Had it been tadabbur, it would have been tatadabbaru. At times, these two ta, they become one. One of them is omitted. And you say tawallaw, and you're actually meaning tatawallaw, and it's there in the Quran as well. Getting too confusing? Well, not at all. I mean, it's just a matter of practice. وَإِن تَتَوَلَّوْا. And if you will turn your backs, the Almighty is telling Muslims in Surah Muhammad, yastabdil. He is going to change. Yastabdil. Right? Istaqbala. Istabdala, yastaqbilu, yastabdilu, mustaqbilun, mustabdilun, and istiqbal, istibdal. Istibdal means to replace one with another. But here there is jazm because in tatawallaw had removed noon from here, and in the jawab shart, the jazm has also gone. So this is verse 38 of Surah Muhammad, 47 Surah. Right. So this example done, let's move on to our sixth number verb, which is infial. So in infial we have infitar. Sorry, I am doing the masdar first. It's infatara. It just exploded. Yanfatiru. It is exploding or will explode. Munfatirun. The one that explodes. There is no ism maf'ul in this particular category because of the nature of the verbs that appear in this category. They only have ism file. Because if you look at it, if something explodes, that it itself is the file. You don't need a maf'ul over there. In fatara, yanfatiru, munfatirun, and the masdar is infitarun, the act of exploding, and the bab is therefore infial. Here it was istif'al, infitar, and you know that the Quran verse Surah 82 begins with is a sama'un fatarat. In fatarat. So this is it. Now there are only two things to see. In fatarat here is feminine muannas, because as-sama in Arabic is feminine muannas. So the verb here is following it. Likewise, there is rafa over here because as-sama is the file of it. So is as-samaun fatarat. This is Surah number 82, Surah Infitar, verse 1. So that is the sixth category of Salasi Mazid Fi that we have done. Obviously, I mean, you might say that you're doing it too quickly. The idea is that you're getting introduced to all these, and then you practice and master them, and read the Quran more and more. Figure out which verb belongs to what category: Salasi Mujarrad, Salasi Mazid Fi, Mazi, Muzare, etc. And the more you plunge into it, the more you go deeper into the waters, the more you're going to get experienced, and hopefully you're going to master it. Then we have the seventh one, Mufa'ala. Let's say Abala. He competed. Yuqabilu. He is competing. Now, there is one addition. A, ba, la are the root letters, and alif is the additional one, mazid fi. The one who competes is muqabilun. The one with whom competition is done is muqabalun. And this act of competition is muqabala, which is the masdar, ismul fail, the name of the category. Likewise, musha'ara, munazara, mubahasa, they are all the same category. The eighth one, you might say that probably I omitted to give an example. Well, in Surah, let's say Surah Ma'idah, verse 58, the Almighty says, Iza nadaytum minas salat. When you call each other towards prayers. Nada, yunadi. Qabala, yuqabilu. Again, huruf illat. So, you would find that they're all there, and you practice them, and you're going to be able to hopefully master them. The last of them is Bab Iftial. So let's do Iqtadara. Iqtadara. Now you can see Alif and Te are the constants. Qaf, Dal, Re are the root letters. Iqtadara. Yaqtadiru. This is Muzare. Muqtadirun is ism file. Muqtadarun is ism maf'ul. He got to the helm of the affairs. He is ruling, the one who rules, muqtadir, the one who are ruled, and the act of ruling is iqtidar, which is bab iftial, iqtidar, intiqal, ibtida, intiha, and so on. So there are a number of words and their families that emerge from here. If you want an example, there are many examples in the Quran. I just refer to one of them in Surah Al-Hadid, the Almighty mentions in verse 27, وَرَحْبَانِيَةً ابْتَدَعُوهَا ibtada'uha. So it's ibtada'u, which is again ibtada'a yabtadi'u. So we have done the 8 categories of Salasi Mazid Fi. I am sure that a lot more practice is needed for us to be able to master these verbs and their categories. And I am hoping that these few sessions, probably there are 23 in all, have gone some way in enabling you to be introduced to this beautiful language of the Quran, and you have got some insight into how it functions. I'm acutely aware of the fact that there is much more to be learned. This whole presentation, call it a course, the series of these lectures were based on the assumption that there are participants who are keen to understand the Book of God through its language, and they would get a few tips and then do the task of learning themselves. And obviously anybody listening to me in this very last lecture is the one who has actually done this job, and I hope and pray that these few sessions go a long way in enabling you to understand the Book of God properly. I know that you will have a number of questions. I'm sure that there are many people, many of them, who know a lot more than I do. I would encourage you to now open the Book of God, read its Arabic text, and look at the translation. Follow the principles that you've done here, and try to understand the Arabic text of the Quran directly more and more. If you need help from me, you would find on the screen that we have my WhatsApp number mentioned over there, which is the facility that I normally use. And we also have an email address of Al-Morid, wherein you can send your message, your queries, and I'll try to respond to them. People do have a complaint against me that I'm at times slow in responding, but that's true. But don't lose hope. If you don't get a response once, do give me a reminder in 2 days, and hopefully I'm going to respond to what you have written. There can be no better message for me to receive than from somebody who is learning Arabic for the purpose of understanding the Quran. And there are a few questions that have emerged in her mind to understand the manner the language is working, and the manner a certain understanding is emerging from a certain verse. I would love to do it, and I hope that you've been able to get some understanding of the Quranic Arabic through these sessions. May the Almighty enable us to have a deeper and a more proper understanding of His book. And I am absolutely sure that it's just the beginning of the journey to learn the Book of God properly and in a better way. And I hope that you have this long, enjoyable journey continuing in your life for as long as you live. May the Almighty enable us to understand His book properly, and may He enable us to follow it as best as we can.